Destiny the Show 43, it's all about Trials of Osiris today. Are you worthy, Guardian?
You're listening to Destiny the Show. Welcome, Guardians.
What is up, everybody? My name is BBKDRAGOON. Joining me, as always, is the super awesome Ditty. How are you doing today, Ditty?
Pretty well. It's getting pretty hot here in Texas.
What's it like?
It's like high 80s already. Yeah, it's no bueno.
Yeah, man, it's getting toasty here. Do you guys get spring wind?
We get winds, we get gusts, yeah, but not like super hard. We got a lot of rain like a couple weeks ago, and it's supposed to rain all next week.
Moisture's good, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to be the only one of the summer.
Yeah, and then it just goes dry until what, like July or
November?
Really?
I don't know.
It stays super dry.
It stays super dry and super hot for a super long time. It sucks.
Yeah. We've had a couple of forest fires start. They're all small, but we had such a bad snow year. It's gonna be toasty here. That's what happens. We don't get tornadoes, we get fires. Hey, how was Iron Banner? How was your week? Yeah, let me know. Did you get your characters there?
I got the helmets. Yep.
Good job. On all three characters?
On all three characters.
When did you play? Like yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I played a lot. Yeah, we made it.
Congratulations. I made it on my Warlock.
Nice. Congrats. I'm kind of disappointed they dropped the populate, or like the rate at which Firebase Delphi came in the rotation. I actually kind of really like that map. I know it's really unbalanced, but not as unbalanced as Blind Watch.
Which shows up all the time.
Yeah. Blind Watch is just the worst.
Yeah, so my Iron Banner experience was like overall really positive. I started on Tuesday, which we know the later in the week it gets, the more you get from the tempered buff. So, I mean, I probably played like 50 or 60 games of Crucible this week. It was just every single day grinding, got rank 4, bought the chest piece and the helmet purely for vanity reasons. I'm not going to use them over like my Obsidian Mind or the other chest pieces that I have right now, but man, they look so good, right?
Yeah, I really like how the Hunter helmet looks.
Yeah, the Hunter gear, like, looks so good. Now, you already had the cape, right?
I had everything. I have everything now from Iron Banner.
Yeah.
Except for, like, the Pulse Rifle and Fusion Rifle and all that junk.
I have decided not to go for rank 5. I kind of wanted to, maybe just because, like, I don't care about that shader, but it's more just like, yeah, I hit rank 5. And that would be the first time I did it. But I'm never going to use that shader. So I learned a lot about myself as well. I love the fact in Iron Banner, if people really do care to win, it makes so many games just intense. There were a lot of ridiculously close games. But with that also comes the massive frustration of just being demolished. I feel like after patch 112, join in progress is just way more prevalent. I got gypped into so many games that were just runaways. And the worst part was, if you even stayed in the game, finished it, you're like, okay, I'll just wait till the next one and start fresh. I would get gypped into another one. Like, I don't know if you've had that before, where the game finishes and it's like, no, let's find a new lobby here. And it gyps you into another game, like, in sequence.
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times, but, you know, I just deal with it and get those medallions of iron because, you know, I'm going to get the reputation eventually anyways. Yep.
So overall, man, it was a good event. I liked it. I got a Joldir's hammer drop from just one of the games, and I also got a universal remote drop from one of the games, which was cool.
Wow, nice.
I've never had anything like that drop in Crucible before. So, yeah, so Iron Banner was good. I had a lot of fun, and I think we've got a ton of news today about Trials of Osiris. So unless you have extra to add, shall we news it?
Let's do it.
Excellent. So all 3 of our news pieces today are going to be available on planetdestiny.com. You can check the links to these on our website, destinytheshow.com. And the first thing we want to talk about is ascending and reforging. We've mentioned this on last week's show, but to just sort of remind viewers, because I talked to a couple of people, like Vito in particular, who didn't really know what ascending was or reforging was. So Ditty, briefly, what is ascending and how will it work in House of Wolves?
Okay, so with every expansion, Bungie has been increasing the damage levels and the light levels of the new gear. So with Vanilla Destiny, you had the max level attack damage was 300 on weapons. With the Dark Below, the attack damage was increased to 331. With House of Wolves coming out, they're actually increasing that to 365. So you're thinking, well, my Vanilla and Dark Below gear is lower attack damage. It's going to become obsolete with all this new gear. That's not the case this time. What Ascending is going to do is allow you to increase that weapons or armor pieces level to current DLC levels of gear. So for example, Fatebringer is the hand cannon you get from Vault of Glass. It only drops at this point at level 300 attack. Once you get that fully upgraded, you will be able to ascend that, once House of Wolves drops, you'll be able to ascend that weapon to 365 and have a 365 damage Fatebringer.
Okay, and how do I actually ascend? What is the item that is needed in order to ascend my legendary gear?
It's a new upgrade material called Etheric Light. And it's going to be dropping from endgame content, which is the Nightfall, Prison of Elders, Trials of Osiris, and Iron Banner from rank 3 Iron Banner and rank 5 Iron Banner.
Now, when it says rank 3 Iron Banner and rank 5 Iron Banner, do you get a package at those ranks or what?
It seems like we will.
Okay.
We don't currently, but
Yeah.
it seems like I think it's actually going to be in his inventory. We'll be able to buy it. I don't know, but you might be able. It might turn out that we get a package from Lord Saladin from the Iron Banner.
Awesome. Now, earlier I just said legendary items. I also meant exotic items. So this will work for all legendary and exotic items pre-House of Wolves, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Awesome. Now, that light level increase on gear, let's say I've got a full Vault of Glass armor set, is that going to be end game? How will that level up? Will it stack with House of Wolves level 34 stuff?
Right. So what happens is with Vault of Glass gear, the Vault of Glass gear is level 30 light. Each armor piece gives you 30 light, which will give you which if you have 4 of those, it'll get you to light level 30.
Yes.
That's Vanilla Destiny. You will be able to ascend those items as well with the Etheric Light to give you 42 light per armor piece, which will then give you up to the light level 34.
Yeah. So it's confusing that like your gear, if the max light level is 42, all of it, you're going to then be able to reach level 34 with your Guardian. So just to hopefully make that a little bit clear. Finally, can you ascend any weapon? It's any weapon, right, that is a legendary or exotic pre-House of Wolves, right?
That's correct. Any legendary or exotic weapon or armor piece acquired before the House of Wolves will be able to be ascended.
Excellent. Reforging. What is reforging for people who don't know, and who is the person in the tower that's going to do this for us?
So currently, reforging is only available with the Iron Banner gear. Usually, you would go into Lord Shaxx with your Efreet Spear, Teemer's Lash, whatever weapon piece, only weapons from the Iron Banner. And you just say, here's 2 motes of light. I want to reroll the stats, the perks that I get on it. So if I don't have an Efreet Spear with Final Round on it, maybe it has Firefly. I don't think you can get it with Firefly, but you get the idea. You can just reroll it for 2 motes of light. But with House of Wolves, the Gunsmith is going to be able to reroll any House of Wolves legendary weapon.
Sick. Now you said Lord Shaxx. Do you mean Saladin? For the
Did
vendor.
I say Shaxx?
You did, but that's okay. I think people understood.
Lord Saladin's Iron Banner, right?
The only reason I brought that up is because somebody's going to tweet us that if I don't. They already wrote the tweet, by the way. So
that's okay. So in House of Wolves, the Gunsmith is going to be the one to re-roll your legendary weapons.
he finally has a purpose. Okay.
There you go.
But the only weapons that can be reforged with the Gunsmith are going to be House of Wolves legendary tower weapons sold from the tower, right?
Sold from the tower and acquired through drops. Yes.
Okay.
So if it's a House of Wolves piece of gear, for example, like you can get an LDR from either the Vanguard Quartermaster or in a drop in a Nightfall, right? Either of those are going to be able to be reforged. It just has to be a House of Wolves piece of gear.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I think that covers it. If you guys want to check out the full article, there's a little bit more details there. Anything to add before we get into the weekly update?
the gunsmith is going to take motes of light, weapon parts, and something else to be able to reforge those weapons. Just there's a screenshot floating around somewhere. We'll probably have it in the show notes of what the upgrade materials will be to reforge a weapon.
Excellent. So, shortly before House of Wolves begins on May 19th, all players will download update 1.2.0 for Destiny, and hopefully we can just call it 1.2 at that point. Here is what is going to be coming, and this was introduced in the weekly update. The spawn locking issue, currently affecting Iron Banner, will be fixed. Ditty, do you know what this is?
I don't know exactly, but I think it has something to do with the fact that, usually in Iron Banner, depending on which control points you have, that will determine where you spawn on the map, right?
Yes, yeah.
So if you just control A and the enemy team controls B and C, you're going to spawn A and they're going to spawn C and B, and vice versa. I think what happens is, and I could be wrong on this, but there's a connection issue that happens in the middle of the game where someone leaves, or do you know what it is, or are you just testing me?
No, I don't know what it is. I'm just
Okay.
asking. So I'm thinking it's not like a physical spawn locking. I think it's the legit, I can't spawn back in. I've had this happen a lot since 1.1.1. It didn't happen very much pre 1.1.1, where you die and you try and press X to respawn, and it's like a timer is waiting for some metric or some requirement to be met before you can spawn in. I've had to wait like 10 seconds before spawning in, and it seems to be on a wave because you can see other people who can't spawn in, and then you all show up at once,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. It happens when you can't spawn, or your team can't spawn, and there's like one or two people on the other team, and it's usually around when heavy ammo spawns. So you usually can't spawn in until the enemy team has both heavy ammos, and that's when the that timer countdown starts in, and you can respawn in. So it's just basically a spawn lockout that prevents enemy players from spawning in, and you just get control of the map. And I've lost a lot of games because of it. Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Heavy has become so incredibly important, especially in Iron Banner, and so hopefully that is the issue that they're talking about and not just something to do with the actual physical spawn locations. So up next in 1.2 is going to be legendary items will be added to post-game reward tables for all Crucible activities. So I already thought there were legendary items in those reward tables, but I guess maybe they're increasing that rate?
I would assume so, yeah, because they've talked about that they're increasing the rewards. They're redoing the reward system for Crucible for House of Wolves.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a little bit more logical. If you do well, you have a higher chance to get something.
Exactly, and I think it's guaranteed that you get a reward.
Oh, nice.
You get something for completing Crucible matches.
Your first match in the daily featured Crucible activity will earn you a new reward package each day. That sounds really cool, and this one's pretty big too. Reputation and mark gains will double for each completed Crucible match. Now, doubling, that to me seems crazy because I hit the weekly cap on Thursday with Iron Banner this week. I hit my mark cap really quickly, so that'll be cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Etheric Light has a chance of being included in Iron Banner reward packages for rank 3 and rank 5, which we mentioned this earlier. And I guess
so that might be at the end of the game. Once you reach rank 3, just like the Iron Banner currently is, once you reach rank 3, you have a chance to get the Iron Banner gear as a drop. That's what is going to happen.
Now, this one's cool, and I'm excited they're doing this. The Dark Below DLC maps for Crucible are going to become available to everybody and added to the standard rotation for select playlists. So Pantheon, Skyshock, and the Cauldron are going to be added for all players. So that's really cool. I liked Pantheon quite a bit. Skyshock is that big outdoor map on the Moth Guards, and I really enjoyed it. The Cauldron, I don't think I've ever enjoyed that map. How about you?
It's not a control map. It's a skirmish and rumble map for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't like it for control, but those other two game types it's pretty good. Yeah. So they're becoming free. Even if you don't have any of the DLCs, they're going to become free for Crucible rotations.
Excellent. Well, that really was the points of the bulletin that weren't about Trials of Osiris, which I think before we get there, let's just mention that tomorrow, this show comes out on Tuesday, so tomorrow, Wednesday, May 6th at 11 a.m. Pacific, the Prison of Elders reveal live stream will be happening, and Professor Broman has been sentenced to the Prison of Elders. This is the last big reveal stream. Ditty, can you believe that it's like here? It's going to be here in like 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, House of Wolves is almost here. And just a quick note, for those of you who want to join in on a discussion about the reveal stream, we're going to be hosting the Bungie Twitch channel on the Destiny the Show Twitch channel. So if you want to talk to other Destiny the Show fans or just anybody in general, they will be in that Destiny the Show Twitch page chat, so you don't have to worry about 100,000 people just chatting all at once in Bungie's chat. So if you want to join in on the discussion, we will be over at twitch.tv/Destiny the Show once the reveal stream hits.
I'm going to try and take my lunch break then and actually catch this one. So other than that, if you guys subscribe to any marginally big Destiny YouTubers, you probably saw Thieves' Den, Black Shield, and Widow's Court, the 3 new PvP maps, and a bunch of Trials of Osiris footage. Hey, let's not waste any time, Ditty. Let's talk about Trials of Osiris. That's going to be the backbone of today's discussion. It was revealed last week. Do you want to give me the quick rundown of what is Trials of Osiris, how will that work, and then we can get into a deeper discussion?
Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 elimination game mode in Destiny Crucible. If you die, you can be revived, but if your entire team dies, you lose the round. It's the first team to 5 rounds wins the game, and that's the basic rundown.
Exactly. And you cannot respawn. Okay, so this is a limited respawn game. Think a Counter-Strike style or search and destroy style game, but you can be revived. So skirmish with no respawns. You can be revived. You can self-res as well if you're a Sunsinger Warlock. And it's very strategic. It's got a lot of cool elements to it. And it is a weekend-only event. So you'll be able to play Trials of Osiris starting Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time until the weekly reset on Tuesday. And each weekend, it will be a different map, okay? So it's only going to be one map per weekend. And when you go into play, it's pre-made teams of 3. You cannot matchmake to find other teams. This is the most competitive game type they've ever put into Destiny, so they don't even want to mess with people having to find like random teammates. This is for you and your buddies to work hard together to hopefully have a good run at it. So carry on. What's next?
Okay, so to gain entry into the Trials of Osiris, I don't have it up. I don't know it off the top of my head, and I don't have it pulled up.
So they didn't really give like too many exact ways for you to get your card or whatever it's called, your ticket into the Trials of Osiris, but it's done by completing activities. We talked about this for a while this week because there was kind of some mixed messages. It sounded like you needed to play like 5 matches in Crucible, like their feature playlist, but then it sounded like all of the House of Wolves activities will have a chance to give you a drop of that ticket. Is that right? Or am I totally just blowing it? Okay.
Basically. So there's going to be, we think there's going to be a few ways to gain entry into the Trials of Osiris. But once you do gain entry with a passage coin, you redeem that, you get a Trials Passage. So the way the Trials Passage works is, it's like a scorecard. It is a scorecard. It goes up to 9 wins and up to 3 losses. You can play however much you want on a single Trials Passage, but if you lose 3 times, your Trials Passage is done. You have to turn in your scorecard. So basically, if I win 2 games in a row and then I lose the next 3, my Trials Passage or scorecard is going to say, this guy only has 2 wins. You can only get the tiered rewards that you get from only 2 wins. Does that make sense?
It does. And I actually just found out how the Trials Passage, you get it when you were reading there. So you gain entrance with the Trials Passage, and you're rewarded one of these for your questing work with the House of Wolves. Following this, you can then purchase subsequent ones for a nominal fee of 100 glimmer. So once you've completed your quest line in House of Wolves, you can purchase them for just the cheap price of 100 glimmer. So this is not exactly what we thought. Long ago, we thought Trials of Osiris was going to be something that only the top 2% of Crucible players were going to get an invite to. This is an activity that Bungie wants more people to experience, and you can tell by how easy it is to get in. It should be noted, too, that once you accumulate 3 losses, and I'll let Ditty talk about the scorecard here in just a second, but once you accumulate 3 losses and that Trials Passage is done, you can go again. You just have to purchase a new Trials Passage, as long as it's still in the time period of that Friday to the Tuesday weekly reset. So how does the scorecard work, Ditty?
Yeah, so basically, it determines what tier of rewards you get from was it Brother Vance? I think that's the Trials vendor.
Yep.
It determines what tier rewards you get. So the more wins you have on a single scorecard determines, the more rare the gear that you get, right? So once you get 5 wins on a single Trials Passage, you get the weekly piece of armor that they're offering. So maybe it's like the Warlock helmet, I have 5 wins, I can just go in, I can spend my glimmer, I can get the Warlock helmet because I have 5 wins on a Trials Passage. And if I get 9 wins, I get the top tier rewards. That's it. That's basically how it works.
And the gear, we've already talked about. It looks amazing. The gear, the perks are specifically designed for Trials of Osiris play. Some of the weapons just look fantastic. That yellow auto rifle, the Summoner, that was purchased by Triple Rec. Man, that thing looked cool, right? It's like a BR.
Yeah, except it's an auto rifle. It looks like a Halo 4 battle rifle. It looks pretty cool.
So each round that you play, by the way, the maximum amount of wins is 9 wins, and they did not explain or show what happens when you get those 9 wins. The speculation, and I'm making a Destiny the Show prediction here, it's going to take you to the second social space that's only for people who have completed the 9 wins in Trials of Osiris without 3 losses. What do you think, Ditty? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and we don't know what's in that social space.
No,
more vendors. For sure.
Yeah, it's the tower we've always wanted. Commander Shepard's dancing in the club up there. So the gear looks great. 2-minute rounds. If you do not slay the other team in that time, the way that they avoid it becoming a really stale, boring game type is a control point shows up in the middle, a singular control point. Whoever captures it and holds it wins the game. That's cool, right?
Yeah, so once the 2 minutes are up, you need to have map control because you don't know you're going to know where it spawns, but the first time you play and it goes into overtime, you're not going to know where it spawns. You need to have map control. And it's most likely it's going to be in the middle of the map, so it's a little bit more fair.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I know from the tournament that they had with all the YouTubers that occurred a few times because they talked about it in the Planet Destiny podcast. Also, by just playing in Trials of Osiris, you have a chance to be rewarded with endgame gear. Or Trials of Osiris gear, basically. The legendary stuff. I guess it's all legendary, isn't it? Yeah, okay. But you don't have to buy it.
So just like the Iron Banner, you can either buy the gear or you can win it from a game. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I actually have the tiered rewards. If you get 2 to 3 wins, that's the stone tier or bronze tier rewards, which includes a Mote of Light and passage coins. 5 wins, you get the weekly armor. 6 wins, you get a silver tier package, which would be similar to Motes of Light and passage coins, but you get a little bit more. 7 wins, you get the weekly weapon, which was the auto rifle that we talked about. 8 wins is the gold tier package, which is legendary rarity, so it's going to be even more cool stuff. And then 9 wins, we don't know what happens there. The speculation is that you possibly get an exotic bounty for the exotic pulse rifle, Fate of All Fools.
Yeah. So I think that just about covers it. There might be a few minute details that we're missing, but just from
consumables.
Consumables. That right? Fire away.
So you can also buy consumables from Brother Vance, and the consumables help you in your Trials Passage. So, for example, Boon of Osiris is the consumable that costs 3 passage coins. You have been granted a boon. Winning your first Trials match will count as 2. which will help you get those rewards a little bit quicker. And then Favor of Osiris is you will start the trials with a win already awarded. So that's nice. And the Mercy of Osiris is your first loss in the trials will be forgiven. Those are the 3 consumables that we know of. There might be more. I believe you can only have 1 consumable active per trials passage.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I think I'm going to assume, because like if you can have the first win count as 2 and then already start with a win, you're already at 3 wins after your first win.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit too cheap, a little bit too easy. So I'm going to assume 1 consumable per trials passage.
Yeah, that would be crazy if that actually happened. It should be noted too, again, no matchmaking, but you will play, well, there is matchmaking, but you need to use pre-made teams is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to...
Yeah, it's 3v3, and they're also prioritizing good connection over skill.
Exactly. Which is interesting. That is an interesting choice. I like that the connection is a priority there. It also does reveal and enforce there is skill-based matchmaking in the Crucible. We've known it for a while, but I don't think we've ever had an overt statement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll be fighting different teams every single game. So after the match ends, it's not like you're going to rematch the same people as long as they stay in that lobby.
Yeah, if you get stomped, it's going to back you out of the lobby every single game and can give you a new group of 3.
So I want your reactions to it, Ditty. I'm going to give mine afterwards. Just what are your thoughts about it? I have a couple. I like it, I'll just say up front, but I have a few like situational things about super abilities that I just want to run by you to see like, man, that's going to be hard to deal with.
I really love elimination game modes. I love Search and Destroy in Call of Duty and the elimination game mode in Halo 5 Beta, whatever it was called.
Breakout?
I actually Breakout. I really liked that, even though I didn't really think it would work in Halo, but it makes sense to me. You know, I've always thought that there's too much chaos in PvP matches, and just not having to worry about more than 3 people, more than 3 enemies on the same map.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. So I'm really looking forward to trials. There's going to be some things. It would be dumb to say that there's no problems with Destiny Crucible, because there are blatant issues with balance in terms of Destiny Crucible, and some of those imbalances are going to be even more clear in the Trials of Osiris because of the elimination game mode.
See, that's where I'm hung up. So let me give you my few situations where I think it's going to be an issue. Number 1, Sunsinger Warlocks can self-res, and I feel like that's a very, very powerful ability in an elimination game mode with no respawns. Beyond that, let's say you play for overtime. You're waiting for the 2-minute timer to run out so you can get that control point in the middle. Well, what happens when a Defender Titan just pops his bubble right on that control point? That could just, that's straight up the game, unless the other team has a super who can counter it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like Defender Titan in overtime would win the game.
Like Golden Gun. Like, that's an instant round, right?
It seems like it would be, but Golden Gun, you don't gain any defensive stats with using Golden Gun.
Yeah.
So like everybody on the map can hear you pop your Golden Gun, and they're going to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
So like, with like a Sunsinger Warlock, if you don't have the self-res, you can have Radiant Skin. Blade Dancer has defensive stats. Striker Titans, as your Fist of Havocing, you become nearly invincible. Same with Nova Bombers. So there is some counterplay to it, but yeah, if you have a good Golden Gunner, especially with Acleophage Symbiote, oh my gosh, that just counters any revive that happens while you're using Golden Gun. You can kill all 3 members. Even if someone self-reses, you just pop them with your 4th Golden Gun shot. That's an instant round, yeah.
Yeah, and those things, I'm sure there'll be frustrations, and I'm sure there's things that are going to be used and abused, but at the end of the day, I'm happy about this game mode, and I do foresee some great times. I foresee some really frustrating times in this playlist, but the gear looks amazing, and it's a huge step in the right direction, I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say so, because with the frustrations comes the strategy of the best team composition. Is it going to be 3 self-reviving Warlocks? Is it going to be 3 Defender Titans? Probably not, because your rounds aren't going to go to overtime most of the time. Is it going to be 3 Gunslingers? Is it going to be a max intellect build? Is it going to be a max whatever? I would assume a max intellect build is going to be one of the best in Trials of Osiris, because being able to get your super ability quicker than the enemy team every single time is going to be huge.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. I would 100% agree. Now, this playlist, again, brings out the need for a private matchmaking. Or not private matchmaking, private matches, okay, to where you can run custom games to do. This is a tournament style game. Like, this is the most competitive type of game they've put into Destiny so far. And again, it just brings up the need for private matches, which they've said are coming. We don't know when. I'm assuming Comet at this point, because they've not mentioned it at all for House of Wolves. So that's my little poke in the jab. But overall, man, excited.
One of my concerns with Trials of Osiris is the fact that after every round, the spawns don't swap.
Oh, so you don't play half and half, do you?
No. So think of the Burning Shrine.
Yeah.
So if you spawn outside, the enemy team has to look into the sun glare every single time they want to try and look outside. If you spawn outside, you're going to spawn there for the rest of the game, because after every round, it doesn't flip. That is a huge advantage.
That is, and that needs to be. I think that is something we should actually tweet to Deej, because that's an easy fix. Swap the spawns halfway through.
No, not even halfway through.
You just
every
think
round,
half, flip.
Every other round, it would be more fair, because it's the first to 5, right?
Yeah.
So if you
really
spawn, I mean, if we do half and half, what's it going to be? You play 5 rounds and then flip.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll agree there. That is a big concern. At the end of the day, I'm excited. I'm more excited for our Prison of Elders reveal next week. Just as a heads up to all of our listeners, we are still receiving your tweets. We are still receiving your emails. We're not going to be doing and it came from Twitter or a Tower Talk today, because, well, we've just got so much to talk about with the news, and I'm sure next week will be the same way. But keep it coming. We like hearing your feedback. And hey, if you've been a listener or a player of Destiny for a while, you'll know that there are some long gaps before we get these amount of news dumps. Like, this is Christmas time for us, because it's like every week there's so much to talk about. But trust us, in between House of Wolves and Comet, there will be plenty of time to get interactive again with our socials, so we're not ignoring them. But I think overall that's a good show. Ditty, where can people find your content?
Twitter.com/DittyDTS, DITTYDTS, and Twitch.tv/Destiny the Show.
Excellent. I want to shout out DestinyTracker.com. They've been supporting the show for a while. It's a great site where you can check out your stats, leaderboards, world records, and gear, and just tons of stuff over on DestinyTracker.com. Very worthwhile checking out. Head to Twitch.tv/Destiny the Show on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be there. Ditty will be there, and we'll be hosting the stream, talking about everything we see with Prison of Elders. All the links from today's show are available on DestinyTheShow.com. You can follow us at Destiny the Show. You can follow me at BBKDRAGOON or on YouTube.com/BBKDRAGOON. We hope you all have an excellent week, and we'll see you in the Prison of Elders.